Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Well, Happy New Year from Sydney, Australia. We are taking a live look at the Sydney Harbor where the clock just struck midnight there. Isn't that amazing?
That's actually really
It's
fantastic.
So beautiful. So the countdown continues, of course, as we inch closer to the new year here in Omaha. But man, they're getting it started off the right way. It's spectacular. It is on my list to do.
I always feel like them and Beijing and London have some of the, I think, best fireworks. I'll give them credit where credit is due.
Hey, don't forget the Omaha Riverfront, though. We're close second to that.
All right, it's good to have you with us on this New Year's Eve. I'm Erin Hartley.
And I'm Cerise Cole. All right, I know you're wanting to know what the temperature is going to be like for all your New Year's Day festivities, but let's start with this morning because that wind is really cooling us off. It's blowing the cold air around.
Yeah, it is definitely giving a bite to the air
Yeah.
as we start things off. And we're also watching that temperature pretty closely with some of the moisture that we have on the roadways. We just dipped below freezing. So let's check in on where we're at and where we're heading as we make our way through the morning and the day at large. It's being the last day of the year, it's a fairly quiet start to the morning. You can see that we do have a little bit of some moisture out there. The wind has helped us out some in drying out the roads, but you want to watch for a couple of slick spots with that temperature at 30 degrees. I think there could be a few of those out there. Note the wind though, consistently 28 miles per hour, some gusts up around 40 miles per hour. And it's making it feel like the teens. It is chilly as we step out the door. As we get things going, maybe a couple of flurries, but you can see the bulk of our precip has pretty much wrapped up at this point. Don't be caught off guard if you see a couple of flakes, but nothing of consequence for the rest of our morning. And as we go through the rest of the day, you'll notice that the temperature just doesn't move a whole lot. We lose a couple degrees over the next couple of hours, and then we just go up those couple of degrees by the time we get to the afternoon. And we'll be trying to maybe get some peaks of sunshine for the afternoon hours. I don't anticipate a lot out of that. Now, as we step into the evening hours, we mentioned the riverfront, 7 o'clock. We've got that happening. You're looking at temperatures in the upper 20s, and though the wind improves some as we get toward that time frame, we're still looking at some 15, 20 mile per hour winds, so it'll feel like it'll be in the teens. So you'll want to dress warm if you're heading out for any festivities, and that's kind of the case all the way up through midnight. Not a lot of motion in that evening time frame with our temperatures. So certainly we've had colder New Year celebrations, but it's still not going to be real warm out there. There you can see the winds still noticeable as we go through the evening hours, even with that gust up around 15 to 20 miles per hour. So that's what you need to know as you make your way out and about. Thankfully, it does look like it's going to be dry for the evening hours and things to cooperate for anyone who is out and about celebrating. Now, as we make our way into the first couple of days of the new year, you can see tomorrow stays pretty quiet for New Year's Day, where we're at about 33 degrees. And then we get our next chance for snow. And I'll tell you what, we've got a busy pattern that is taking shape over the next couple days between snow chances, some Arctic air. There's a whole lot going on.
Yeah, especially today, starting off really cold today.
Yeah, it really is. And then when you start moving into the next several days, that's just kind of the start of it. As we get into our Thursday, we start off the day with some snow that's going to be falling. Let's talk about that first alert weather day that we're going to be looking at. And this is what we've got for that. It starts off Wednesday night and continues into the morning hours for Thursday. That could give us some issues for that morning drive. We're talking about a thin coating, not a lot of snow, but 2 inches or less falling right when everybody's heading back to the office from New Year's Day. That's where we're looking at the issues coming into play. So there you can see it starts to fall there. We continue to fill things in, and we're still snowing as we head into our Thursday morning. It moves out pretty quickly as we get into the midday hours, and we wrap things up from there. But keep an eye on that. We've got a lot going on as we go beyond that too. We've got more snow chances that we'll dig in deeper a little bit later here on the stream for Sunday and Monday. You notice those first alert weather days. And you also notice even more cold. It's cold this morning, but not quite as cold as what that second half of the 10-day has, with some below zero temperatures. Wind chills that'll probably be in the double-digit teens below zero.
Yeah, all right. Well, temperatures continue to drop this morning, though, so that could affect your drive in for those who are going to work today?
Yeah, it's something we're certainly keeping close tabs on. The road conditions. We were concerned about some of the snow being an issue. Now, thankfully, we kept the temperature warm enough that most of that didn't stick. But we do have the potential to get some refreeze to happen. So let's talk about how the road conditions are holding up this morning as we start things off. And there's what we're seeing. You can see as we look at the metro. For the most part, it looks like we're doing pretty well, but keep in mind we did just dip below the freezing mark. So we'll keep an eye on this. There may be some of the side streets that have a couple of slick spots. It's just a good idea to use a little extra caution as you're heading out and about. Don't get caught off guard by any of those. We zoom things out, you'll notice closer to Schuyler, Columbus, and then as you make your way toward Norfolk, West Point, you've got some reports of patchy coverage of slush on the roadways. But once you're closer to the metro, if you're off to the east, it's just going to be very isolated with anywhere where we do have issues. There's a look at some of our roads. You can see a little bit of a sheen still showing up 144th right near Dodge. And then you've also got, this is closer to West Point. You can see how there's just kind of a little bit of some shine to the road. So that's what we'll be watching as we make our way out and about this morning. The good news is we have lighter traffic, and it seems like people are getting where they need to go for the most part pretty well. In the metro, not much for issues. People using a little extra caution, it looks like, for those who are out and about. If you go a little further north and east, that is where we have our one problem. That's a crash that appears to be blocking Highway 30 right near Woodbine. So if you are traveling in Harrison County, that's a major route through Harrison County. That's between Highway 44, Highway 37. You'll need to maybe think about your alternate route for that. But in the metro, things holding up pretty well so far. Again, just use a little extra caution is always a good idea in these situations.
All right, Jared, thanks so much. All right, Omaha Fire tells us an elderly woman has passed away after a house fire. When crews arrived on scene, they found Nancy Dugan unresponsive. Now, we spoke to one of her neighbors, and she says she tried to help Nancy when the house first caught fire, but there was just so much smoke. She says that Nancy was just a joy to be around.
She was a big Husker volleyball fan. She used to light up the red N on her house for volleyball games and football games. You know, just a nice lady who was good to be around. Just good people.
Well, crews managed to put the fire out in about 20 minutes. The cause, though, is still under investigation.
Meantime, Omaha City crews are staying on top of winter conditions. Mayor Gene Stothert stressed the city was prepared as best as it could be. The mayor says they were not able to pre-treat the roads because of all the rain. But last night was not the only concern. As you heard Jarrett mention, there is more snow chances on the way this week. Public Works says they are monitoring how the conditions play out to prepare for the next snowfall.
We may have a pre-treatment operation. It kind of depends on how much salt gets put down today. So we'll look at that. It's possible that we could have people working on New Year's Day to go out and just spread salt and get some brine down and pre-treat.
And a reminder for homeowners, you are responsible for clearing off the sidewalks around your property.
All right, now to the safety desk with Maria Cade. Maria, you have some good information about the spread of bird flu.
I know, we're still talking about it. It's still making a really big impact all across the country. Now, there is no evidence of bird flu passing from person to person, but health experts are saying that some mutations of the bird flu might make that a little bit more likely in the future, unfortunately. They say this because the CDC was sampling genetic testing from a patient in Louisiana, and that testing shows that the virus likely mutated in that patient. Now, they do say there is no evidence that it has been passed on to anyone else, luckily, but the CDC has emphasized the risk to the general public hasn't changed. It's still low, so some good news there. But some health experts say not enough is being done to fight the spread. Now the CDC is pushing back against those claims that the U.S. isn't testing enough for the bird flu.
I flash back to January of 2020, and I'm hearing the same words come out of the CDC.
Like what?
Low risk of human-to-human transmission.
Now
our agencies are making the same mistakes they made with COVID.
Well, the CDC says it is testing asymptomatic people who have a high-risk exposure to the bird flu. And there's also a flu vaccine campaign that's underway for farm workers who might be exposed to that to try and stop it before it spreads any further.
All right, having unfortunate flashbacks from 5 years ago. Hopefully not, though. All right, in the meantime, just kind of take the bird out of the bird flu. We're also talking about just the flu in general.
Yeah, it's impacting our community here in Omaha, all across the country as well. Those numbers sort of going up, according to some new research. They're really making their mark. The CDC is predicting that people going to the hospital for flu, that could be as high as this time last year. This is despite a pretty slow start to the cold and flu season this year. Now, their reports show a 12% jump in positive flu tests during the week before Christmas. Now, that report says more than 12,000 people were hospitalized with the flu then. And right now, health officials say influenza A, that is the biggest concern. But the bird flu and norovirus, those could also have a pretty big impact too.
If you start developing any respiratory symptoms, you need to get tested.
Now, health officials say the number of RSV cases, that's also high, and it's increasing in most areas around the country. For RSV, young children, they're especially at risk, so you definitely want to be careful with that.
Absolutely. Okay, good health tips, Maria. Thank you so much. All right, we're back after this.
Welcome back, everybody. We are taking a live look outside. A beautiful looking start to the day, right? Looks really good. But if you step outside, you will surely feel that wind whipping around. It is cold. Feels like the teens right now, Jared. All right. So it's the last day of 2024. How are we looking as we step in, usher in 2025?
Everyone's hoping for a good start to the new year.
That's our hope.
Yep. New year, new weather. Some changes. Yeah, here we go. We're looking at winter really taking hold here as we start to push into the new year. Maybe that's not what you wanted to hear. Sorry about that. But as we go through the rest of the day today, we get that breeze slowly walking down some. It's still going to be chilly for any celebrations, but certainly we've had colder New Year's Eve evenings. As we go through the next couple days, though, we have 3 different First Alert 6 weather days. That includes Thursday for snow that impacts us in the morning hours. Sunday snow, that could be our biggest snow of the year so far. And then also what we see for the aftermath, which is a big push of Arctic air. So it gets busy over the coming days. Here's what today looks like. We see things walk up just a few degrees through the course of the day, maybe a few flurries around early on. Otherwise, it's a pretty quiet forecast that we see for the rest of the day. Thankfully, we're walking those winds down too. They're pretty active right now. We'll have gusts that are up around 15, 20 miles per hour as we get into the evening hours. Tomorrow is also a pretty quiet start to the new year. We're looking at pretty seasonal day, 33 for our high, partly cloudy sky. Once we get into the nighttime hours, though, we start bringing in our next system. You can see how Thursday there lit up in red. That is a first alert weather day as we see snow start to push its way in Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And the reason Thursday is where we see the first alert weather day being in place is because of that thin coating of snow that we end up seeing as a result of this. Pretty light totals out of this, but it's a lot to do with the timing as far as what we see. So after midnight, we start bringing some of that in. We continue to fill things in as we head into the morning hours, and that'll be around as we go through the commute as well. So if you're still actively putting that snow down, that's something you'll have to work around. Keep in mind, this is the 2nd of January, so a lot of people going back into the office on this day. So it looks like it could be a little rough drive for those who are going to be heading in on Thursday morning. It does clear out by about midday, and we're looking at amounts that end up to an inch right near the metro. As you get up north of I-80 is where you start to step those amounts up. We get up to 2 inches. I wouldn't be completely shocked if we get 1 or 2 totals off to the north and east that end up just a touch higher than that, but I do think we'll keep things fairly light on the scale when you compare it to what we could see on Sunday, which is our next first alert weather day. So there's where we're seeing on this one the potential, the way things look right now, to bring more snow in, and then we really drop those temperatures off. You can see 10 for a high on Monday. So this comes in late Saturday night. Most of the snow falls on Sunday, and we wrap it up late Sunday, but we'll still have slick travel possible Monday morning as kids are heading back from winter break, and you're looking at the wind chills that are going to be a factor as well. So here's a look at how this unfolds. You can see the bulk of the moisture off to the south Saturday night, but we start to pull more of it into our area. This is at least something to watch. Does the system end up mostly pulling south, or do we get enough of it that we end up with the snow? Right now it looks like we are looking at that snow being a factor for us through much of the day on Sunday. And then you can see that it starts to pull away on the most recent model run there. So this is something we're going to continue to watch here as we work our way into our Sunday. But certainly we've got snow chances to talk about for any of the snow lovers who've been missing it.
We were making a lot of faces. We weren't at all of your forecast, Jared. I mean, really dipping into 2025, we're really just going full force into weather.
Yeah, and we've talked about the snow, and you were making faces at that. Let's look at the temperatures alongside that. And it starts off pretty seasonal, 30s, what we're seeing today, tomorrow. We start to cool down after Thursday's round of snow. We're going to be looking at highs that are right around 20 degrees for Friday, Saturday. Look what happens after that. Teens, and we're looking at probably wind chills that are in the double digits below zero as we're starting things off Monday morning, and that's staying the case as we go through much of next week. We struggle to get back to the double digits for highs pretty much all week long. So the Arctic air making its presence known as we start off the new year.
Oh, it's known.
It's not very fun.
Here it is.
It's not, no. Not at all.
Yeah.
Thank you, though, Jared.
We appreciate it.
We don't blame the messenger at all.
No.
Thank you for not killing the messenger.
All right, later on tonight, a fireworks spectacular is set to begin at the riverfront.
Yeah, before then, a first alert to what you need to know before you head downtown. The show starts 7 o'clock tonight. Organizers say you can see it all throughout downtown, not a bad spot in the house. It'll launch, though, near the heartland of America Park. And don't worry about paying for your parking. All meters will be free after 5 p.m. We do have more details if you want it on the event, as well as other New Year's events around town. Just go to firstalerts6.com.
A good reminder from Omaha Police to celebrate the new year safely. Authorities are reminding us that firing a gun within the city limits is illegal. You could be arrested if you're caught. The city allows the fireworks from 5 o'clock tonight through 1 a.m. tomorrow. Now, keep in mind, you have to be 16 and up to set fireworks off. Now, kids between the ages of 12 and 15 can too, as long as an adult is watching them. All right, the new year is popular time to turn over a new leaf.
Yeah, you might have heard of Dry January. It's where people ditch alcohol for a month. Well, more than a third of American adults say they take part in this challenge. The owner of Dry Spokes, it's a non-alcoholic bar in Omaha, says she's seen people dabble into Dry January.
We are active adults, working adults who don't necessarily want to deal with hangovers in the week, but we want something that's going to be an adult drink.
Well, dietitians at Nebraska Medicine say for anyone making and keeping a resolution, the key is to start small. Well, 2025 is just hours away, and there is so much to look forward to.
Of course, and some big projects are coming to the silver screen in the new year. We'll say about them when we come back.
Welcome back, everybody. As we're gearing up for the new year, well, so is Hollywood.
Yeah, this is an exciting lineup of movies for 2025. All right, so it's Paddington in Peru. He sees the marmalade-loving bear back on the big screen in the U.S. for his third adventure on February 14th. Also opening on Valentine's Day, it's Captain America: Brave New World.
I like Captain America. All right, Lilo and Stitch, that comes out in May. And Superman lands in theaters July 11th. You know what? I'm interested in this Superman because my Superman, like back in the day, did not have all that. And Jurassic World Rebirth, that's in 2025. Ooh. Downton Abbey 3, and the follow-up to this year's hit, Wicked.
You know which one Aaron and I are excited for.
What's Tom Cruise doing there?
I don't know what that one was. The Jack Black one, wasn't that the...
Mission Impossible.
What's the Jack Black one? I'm forgetting it. Minecraft. Yep, I saw the trailer for that in a theater, so.
Man, 2025 looks good for a movie.
I know.
Maybe I'll see one of them.
Jared,
you know what?
New Year's resolution. I would not go see a movie.
I wouldn't bet $1 that you're going to go see the movie.
Kind of well known. I don't watch a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I'll try to check some of them.
But your lack of movie knowledge makes up for in your music knowledge.
True.
He is the music guy.
Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody. Oh, it's our last streaming of 2024. Hey, but you can join us for the Today Show update. You can watch it here, or you can watch it live on the air.
All right, have a great start to your New Year's Eve.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Aaron Hartley. Some new crashes to talk about already this morning. We'll get a check-in with Jarrett Lansford.
Keeping an eye out for any of these issues as we see temperatures drift below the freezing mark, and we've got two new crashes. This includes northbound on the JFK right near Gilmore. This is a view of what's going on. You see emergency crews just responding. They're right on the left-hand side. You can see they've got it over on the left shoulder, so watch for that. That could be an area where you see some delays. Also a crash here at Lincoln and Whitmas. That's just off to the north of 370 here in Papillion. So we're watching carefully to see if we see any other issues develop. We'll continue to keep you updated with that as temperatures dip below that freezing mark early this morning. And it's going to feel quite cold as you're stepping out and about. 30 is where we're at, but with the wind that's in place, gusting up around 40 miles per hour, feels like it's 15. So dress warm, use extra caution. You want to make sure you don't run into issues with how it feels out there. Quite the bite with those gusts going up to 40 miles per hour. This is the windiest it will be all day, but it's going to be slow improvement on the wind. There you can see by midday we're about 25 mile per hour gusts. Still a noticeable wind as we get into the evening hours if you're heading out for any of those New Year celebrations. Right now we're sitting pretty close to that 30-degree mark, and that's about all we manage for temps all day long. We'll get back to about 32 for our peak this afternoon. And as we make our way into the evening, 20s for temps, teens what it'll feel like as you're heading out for those celebrations.
All right, Joe, thanks. A fireworks spectacular is set to light up the skies over the riverfront tonight. The show starts at 7. Organizers say you can see the show throughout downtown. And for those looking to park, all meters are going to be free after 5 p.m.
All right, everybody, it is 7:28. We're back with another update for you in 25 minutes. We'll see you then.